Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Myra, and today's video I'm going to teach you how to make this really cute bandana. This is one of my seasonal projects. Whenever the weather starts getting warm, I start pushing these out. This is a pattern that I designed and created, and I wanted to kind of get it mastered before I taught you all how to do it. It uses one of my favorite stitches, which is the V-stitch, and I find that it's really easy to work up, and it's a very quick stitch to learn and kind of understand. These bandanas usually take roughly about an hour and a half or so if you're just doing it from start to finish. So it's a very quick, super easy project to work on, and it's beginner friendly, which I absolutely love. But I want to show you all the back really quick, and then we'll get into the tutorial. All right, with that being said, grab your yarn, grab your hook, and let's get started.
When it comes to making my bandanas, sometimes I'll either use between the 4.5 or the 4mm stitch. And then for my yarn, it really just does depend on like the texture and what I like using. So I'll kind of give some examples. So this yarn here is very, very sturdy. So if you're looking for a sturdier type of bandana, this is a little bit softer. We're going to try this one. I have not worked with this one yet. So we'll be using Lillian Cream for today. This is probably the lightest of the bunch, still 100% cotton, but it's going to be a little bit more lightweight with the yarn. Lastly, this is one of my favorites. It is super, super soft if you want a soft bandana. And then the same deal here. This was a Joanns brand. It was discontinued, but still soft brand. And then just to kind of look at the texture, you can see that the white is a little more coarser. Meanwhile, the green is a little bit more softer. So really preference on what you like. All right, you're still going to need a tapestry needle to even all those ends.
First thing we're going to do is do a magic ring, which I use 2 fingers for. I just put the tail in front of me. I wrap it around my finger and hold it. And then I take my hook and go underneath the first one over the second. And then I just twist it. From there, you can let go. And now you have your magic ring. From there, we're going to go ahead and do our chain of 3. And this is actually the only chain technically in the pattern. I'm not a big fan of chains. And we're going to begin our first V-stitch. Now I know amongst the community, it's very different amongst everybody. My V-stitch is a double crochet, chain, double crochet, and that is in US terms. So we're going to go ahead and do that first V-stitch into the magic ring here. Insert our hook. Yarn over, insert our hook into the magic ring and do a double crochet, which is yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to chain 1. Again, yarn over, go into that magic ring, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and then pull through 2. Now that is the first V-stitch in the pattern. Once you're done with that, you can actually go ahead and tighten this just so that we can get our point. That is the first row. You have your chain here and then the 2 V-stitch in that first V-stitch. And how this bandana works is that you increase with a V-stitch every row. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So this was the first V-stitch that we did. We're going to go ahead and turn our work and we're going to do a standing stitch for a double crochet. You're going to insert your hook into that first chain, that first space, excuse me. Pull up a loop and you're going to single crochet. From there, we're going to stack the single crochets. So in this left side of the V-stitch here, we're only going to insert our hook into that, yarn over, pull through. That's the second one. We're going to do one more. You have 2 ones. You have the one on the right and one on the left. You're going to go underneath the one on the left, yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull through. And that's how you do a standing stitch. From there, we're going to go ahead and do our first V-stitch of the row. Again, making sure we are double crocheting, chain, and double crochet. So this is the first double crochet. I'm going to chain 1. We're going to double crochet again. All right, from there, we're going to go ahead and insert our second V-stitch into this next chain space here. We don't need to do anything in between the 2 V-stitches. We just go from one V-stitch to the other. Again, yarn over, insert hook into that chain space, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. You're going to chain 1, and again do a last double crochet in this stitch. All right, so if we look at the pattern here really quick, you can see that we have our first V-stitch from the lower one, and we have our 2 V-stitches here for the second row, which means in row 3, we're going to have 3. So we're going to keep going, turn our work. We're going to do that single crochet stack. Insert hook into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through both loops. On that second single crochet on that left side right here, we're going to go underneath, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2. That is 2. We're got 1 more to do. Again, left side, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 3. And this just keeps my edges nice and crisp when I do the bandana, which I like. So I've just been doing that. All right, we're going to go ahead and do our first V-stitch of this row. Again, inserting into this chain space. Yarn over, go into the chain space. Pull through 2, pull through 2. Chain 1, and go back into this stitch, which is actually a V-stitch space. That is our first one. We're going to do our second one into this next stitch, V-stitch space. Yarn over, insert hook into that V-stitch space from below, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, chain 1, go back into the stitch again, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. And lastly, in this little space here, we're going to go ahead and do 1 more so that we get an increase on this row. Yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, chain 1, go back into this row, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. So now we are done with row 3. We have 3 V stitches. We've done everything correctly. We move on to row 4. Again, we're doing that single crochet stack. Insert hook into that first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through both loops. From there, you're going to go ahead and grab this loop right here on the left side of that single crochet and do another one. So we're stacking the single crochets. Lastly, we're going to go ahead and finish it up with a third one. Okay, we're going to do our first V-stitch in the previous V-stitch space. Again, that is double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. We're going to go ahead and keep going into this next V-stitch space from below and do another V-stitch above it. All right, and our last V-stitch that was in that row before we do our increase. Okay, and then in this space here, we're going to do our increase V-stitch. So this is the new one. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And that is row 4. And again, how we double check? 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 4 V-stitches plus the standing stack. We are good to move on to the next row. Last row I'll do here with you all before I meet you at the end of this bandana. We're going to go ahead and insert our hook and do our and do our single crochet stack. All right, we'll begin our V-stitch. We're going to do 5 V-stitches in this row. That is 1, that is 2, three, 4, and that last one, which is this increase in this space here. 5. All right, and that is row 5, and you're just going to continue that pattern all the way up to your measurements. Personally, for me, I usually do between row 23 to 26. It does depend on those yarns that I mentioned before, and you just kind of find your flow for that. Once you've done measuring yourself and you've finished with your last row, I will meet you back and we'll begin doing our border. I have just finished my bandana, and this is what it's looking like right now. Now, like I said in the beginning, every yarn is different. So for the Lily Sugar and Cream yarn that I'm working with for this bandana, it gave me 20 rows. So I didn't need to do the 23 to 26. So again, make sure you're measuring yourself to make sure that things are looking good. But we're going to go ahead and begin the border. And how I do it is once we're done with this last V-stitch in the last row that you're working with, we're going to go ahead and start working alongside the sides and all the way back up. So we'll come over here. What we're going to go ahead and do is single crochet 2 single crochets in each of these chain spaces here. Okay. And just do that again. And that is and just single crochet, which is going under stitch, yarn over and pull through. And you're just going to go down the line. In every single hole, you're just going to do a single crochet. All right. And I will meet you back when we get to this point here, and I'll show you how I tackle that. All right, so I am in the last space before we get to the point of the triangle here where we did our magic ring. What I'm going to go ahead and do is proceed to do my 2 single crochets in that space. And now I'm at the point. What I like to do next is chain 3. And then what we're going to go ahead and do is begin going down this side of the bandana. And what I like to do is have my weaves tail that we did from that magic ring, and I like to just weave it in as I go. So again, we're going to start here and we're going to do our 2 single crochets. And we just do that across all of these spaces that you see here. All of these little spaces, we'll go ahead and do a single crochet, 2 single crochets in each of those spaces. And I find that this border is just very crisp and it makes the pattern look a lot smoother and a lot more polished. And that's what I like in my bandanas. Right. So it looks good. You can kind of see the beautiful edge that we're doing here and kind of that unfinished edge that we're going to be working on. So we'll keep going with this until we get to the end. Again, making sure we are doing 2 single crochets in each of these spaces on the side. And I will meet you back when we have gotten to that point and we are all the way up here to begin our first strap. All right, so now we're going to begin our chain. And I like to chain 51. 1 is just extra for the chain. And we'll go ahead and begin that. Again, do what you feel is comfortable. If 50 is too long, shorten it down. This is just what I do here for me. And I will meet you back when we have chained 51. This is the last chain. This is 51. All right, so we have done our little strap here. What we're going to go ahead and do, and this is a little tedious, but I feel like it looks a lot better polished, is we are going to go ahead and slip stitch into the back bumps of the chain. So not on the side, but on the back bumps here. So that first one right there, we'll go ahead and do our chain, which is just yarn over and pull through both loops. You kind of have to find like a good grip with this, but you're just going to go all the way down the row, or excuse me, all the way down the chain. And you're just going to go all the way down this chain, and I'll meet you back when we start to get close to that edge. All right, so I am getting to the last few bumps of the row here, and I'm just going to show you my process. And again, you're just slip stitching in each of the back bumps, making sure we're grabbing all of the cotton pieces. All right, and then I like to do one more in that last one there, just to really put the chain on the bandana. Okay, so we have finished, and this is what the chain looks like. It looks a lot of a nicer, smooth texture. That's kind of what I'm going for. Next thing we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to begin the top border, and this is the top of the bandana. So we're going to go ahead and do a single crochet in each of these holes at the top. I don't do two because there's a lot more holes that we're working into. So not only are we working a single crochet in this V stitch here, we're walking a single crochet in between the V stitches as well. So that space and gap that you see, we're doing that. So we're just going to single crochet, one single crochet in each of the holes and spaces that you see. Again, in between the two V's and in a V. And you're just going to do that all the way across the row. And I will meet you back when we are getting close to that finish line, and we'll begin the second strap to the bandana. This is the last single crochet that we're going to add into that space, and we're just going to yarn over and pull through both loops. So again, we'll do a quick zoom out. So this is a quick zoom out of the piece. Again, this is what it's looking like. So again, we've done the side borders here. We've done our first strap, and now we're going to go ahead and we just did this border here, and we're going to go ahead and do our second strap. So again, what we are doing is we're going to chain 51, and then we are going to slip stitch in 50. So I'll meet you back again when we have chained our 51. And this is the 51st chain that we're doing right here. Again, we want to make sure we, instead of working on the front side of the braid or this chain, we're going to turn our work and work in these back bumps. So insert hook into the first back bump that you see, and then we're just doing a slip stitch. And that is to begin our strap. And we're just going to do this all the way till we get back to the bandana. And just take your time with this. Again, you're more than welcome to do a single crochet if you don't want to do slip stitching, but I just think that slip stitch makes the border look a little smoother, and I think it works really well with the straps. So I always slip stitch my straps here, but feel free to modify it if you think single crochet is going to be better for you. And I will meet you back down when we start to get close to the end of our bandana. I am on my last couple of back bumps where I'm slip stitching here. So again, just yarn over and pull through, insert hook into the stitch, and then you just pull through both loops. All right, so once we're done, you can see that it's kind of off of the bandana and it's not really attaching itself. So what I like to do to finish this off is I like to get into this first single crochet little stitch here. just to connect the bandana and the strap together. And I just slip stitch in that as well. I'll make sure we grab both parts here. There we go. And pull through. Okay. And now you can see that the strap is attached to the bandana, which is what we want. From there, you can just give this a little cut. Pull through. You want to also weave in your ends. And you should have a completed bandana. So I will go ahead and do that, and then we'll be back. I just finished tying in my ends, and this bandana looks super cute for summertime, and I'm really, really excited, and I can't wait to try it on. But again, we increased in every row with using a V-stitch, and then we started our border at this spot and just went all the way around the triangle, did our first strap, came back around and did the top border and did our last strap to finish it off. So with that being said, this is it. You're done. Yay! You guys did it. You finished your bandana. Hopefully the instructions were nice and helpful for you all. If you all love this video, you're more than welcome to leave a like and subscribe, please. I'm working on getting to that consistency. I do work 9 to 5, so I'm trying my best on the side. But if you guys want to see anything, you're more than welcome to leave suggestions below. As always, everything that I have mentioned in this video will also be linked down below in the description. But with that being said, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Stay blessed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!